It's snowing!
Game 7.
Hello and welcome to Hawks Recap. This is week 8 of this Blackhawks season. Lots to get to in this video. The Hawks have come back from their circus trip and they had 3 home games this week with a lone away game in Philadelphia. So I'm going to cover those games and then I'm also going to announce the winner of the Winter Classic jersey giveaway. Look, if you want to skip to the end of the video to see if you've won, go ahead. I can't stop you. I don't really blame you for it. I'm for sure not going to judge you. However, I do feel like it's important for me to at least remind you that we are in the home stretch of the holiday season, and I bet Santa's right in the middle of checking his list for the second time right about now. I don't know what his views are on that type of behavior, you know, skipping to the end of things. I just want to make sure you keep your goodness, for goodness sake, and make the best decision possible here. So, just food for thought. But if you are sticking around and not skipping to the end, I just want to say you are awesome. And with that said, let's talk about some Hawks games. For the first game of the week, the Hawks welcomed the Florida Panthers to United Center. First home game in a very long time for the Hawks after the circus trip, and oh man, it feels good to be home. This would be the Panthers' first game without their head coach, as he got fired a few days prior. Their GM is stepping in to coach them for the rest of the season. I'm not quite sure why they decided to give him the boot, especially after the great season the Panthers had last year and the unfortunate string of injuries they've had this season. I don't know if he's really done enough to get a boot to the butt and lose his job, but he did, and it's not my call, so whatever, Florida, whatever. Just you do you, I guess. Panic would get the Hawks on the board and in the lead late in the first period with his first goal since October, since his very hot start to the season. He cooled off a lot in November there, and it was very good to see him get back on the score sheet. You could tell he was thrilled about it just from the emotion of his celebration. So very good to see that. Very good to see the Hawks in the lead, and very good to hear Chelsea Dagger once again. Neither team could find the back of the net in the second period. Crawford was fantastic in this one. He had 38 saves. Outdueled Luongo, who had a very, very good game in his own right, but this one went to Crawford for sure. Patrick Kane would get called for a high sticking penalty late in the second period, and the Panthers would find themselves on the power play to begin the third. Lo and behold, the Hawks PK unit cannot find a way to stop a senior citizen from scoring a goal. Jaromir Jagr ties the game up, and this one goes all the way into overtime and all the way into a shootout. Thankfully, in the shootout, Panarin and Panic would score, Crawford would deny everything, and the Hawks get the win, start the week off with the win. Everything is back to normal. On a side note, I'm not quite sure why Panic was left off the 3 stars list. He had the only goal for the Hawks and ended up getting the deciding shootout goal, so having his name left off that list was a little surprising and disappointing, really. Panic, if you're watching. He is not watching. I would have put you on that list. You had a good game. Congrats on your first goal in forever. Well done. For the second game of the week, the Hawks would welcome the New Jersey Devils to town. Travis Zajac would score a hat trick in this game for the Devils. He scored a goal in each of the 3 periods, quite consistent of them, really. But there would be no hats flying tonight. The Hawks would score 3 goals in the second period, 1 from Kruger, 1 from Anisimov, and 1 from Hjalmarsson. And this game would go to, you guessed it, overtime. In the overtime period, Camilleri would beat Crawford, but the post would deny him. The Hawks would take it back the other way on the counter. Kane would find Hossa, who would shimmy himself into that high slot area. He would unleash a shot past Schneider and the post, And the Hawks get their second straight win, second straight overtime win, 2 straight wins to begin the week. This is a good start. I like it a lot. And with 2 wins under their belt, the Hawks would fly over to the city of brotherly love to face the Flyers in a nice little early afternoon Saturday game. Unfortunately, Crawford was sent to a nearby Philly hospital to undergo an appendectomy. He was scheduled to start in this one, but obviously couldn't. So Darling gets the net. The Hawks had to sign an emergency goalie to back him up. The players would find this out shortly before game time, and it seemed like it might have affected their play a little bit in this one. Definitely a tough situation for sure. Now the Hawks would get the only goal of the first period and take a lead into intermission thanks to Panarin, but that would be about it for the Hawks' success in this one. The Flyers would do all their damage in the second period, scoring 3 goals. All 3 goals came with Trevor Van Riemsdyk on the ice. It was his first game back since getting injured very early in this year, and he looked a bit rusty out there for sure. So after having their first loss of the week, the Hawks would travel back home to face the Winnipeg Jets, who they played at the very beginning of the circus trip not too long ago, and had a pretty poor showing against. Prior to the game, the Hawks decided they can't really go with an emergency goaltender every game, so they brought up Johansson from Rockford, and to make room for him, sent down Nick Schmaltz. Schmaltz started off his rookie year very well, but has since found himself getting less and less playing time. So for the sake of his development, they sent him down to get some first-line minutes with the Hogs. Neither team could get too much going in that first period. The Jets would have the majority of chances, but still wasn't a whole lot. The Hawks, meanwhile, only had 3 shots. I mean, that's a birdie on a par 4 and an eagle on a par 5. Pretty good if you're playing golf, but not very good for the game they're trying to play. The Jets would grab the lead in the second period with a power play goal, and they would carry that lead into the third period before the Blackhawks decided to get their motors running a bit. Panarin would tie the game up a little bit past the halfway point of the third period, but with a little under 5 minutes to go, the Jets would retake the lead, and it was a little bit of a controversial one. Replay would show that Marco Dano was offsides as the Jets entered the zone prior to the goal. However, Coach Q did not challenge it, and therefore the goal stood on the ice, and the Jets would have the lead late in this one. The Hawks would draw a 4-minute double minor penalty with a little over 2 minutes left to go. They were able to pull Darling out of the net, get the extra attacker, had a 6-on-4 opportunity for a good amount of time, had a flurry of shots and opportunities, but nothing would go, and the Hawks would drop their second straight game after starting the week off 2-0. The Hawks started the week off well, but ended in pretty disappointing fashion. They went 0 for 10 on the power play this week. That's got to get better. Taze is still out with an upper body injury. His status seems to not be getting any better, so they don't really know when he's coming back. Now Crawford is out for 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be Darling's net for a while here, but I have every bit of faith in him. He's been solid for us many, many times, and there's no reason to believe he won't continue to be a very good presence in net for us. So let's not get too down right now. I mean, we are still in first place in the West, so things can't be too bad, right? And plus, we've got a Winter Classic jersey to give away. Now, before I pick a winner here, I do want to thank all of you who entered. There was a total of 25 entries between YouTube and Twitter. There's pretty much a better chance for you winning this than the Hawks scoring on a power play. So you got that going for you, which is nice. So I've gathered all the entries here. I put them into this online program called Wheel Decide, and I'm going to spin this wheel, and it's going to randomly pick a name here. Wish you all the best of luck. Let's spin this wheel. Who's gonna win? TC Gliscor. Hey, congratulations. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. I will be contacting you to get all the deets to get that jersey over to you, hopefully before holidays here. To everyone else, I am so sorry you didn't win. I understand your pain right now, your disappointment. I'm not very lucky winning giveaways either, so I know how you feel. But I will be running more giveaways in the future, so look out for those, and better luck during those times. Until then, though, thanks for watching. I very much appreciate it. I hope you enjoy these videos. If you have any feedback, leave comments. I read them. I just want to get better. And let's go Hawks.